Welcome to Your Biz, Your Rules with Dara Paddy, the podcast here to help you weave the perks and quirks of your personality into your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss another episode. Now let's get to it. Hello, and welcome to our next quickie-sode. Today I'm going to be talking to you about layering up different productivity hacks. Now, I don't know about you, but in my world, productivity, and yes, I am using sarcastic air quotes there, falls into the category of delightfully justifiable procrastination. I find that reading all of these theories and studies and blog posts about ways to work smarter is my way of conning myself into wasting time, but in a way that's good for my business. And, that's kind of an oxymoron. So what I decided to do a while ago is to take a step back and look at all of the extra steps that I'd added into my workflow and think about whether they actually really helped me achieve what they promised. Did they help me work smarter? Did they make me more productive? Did they make my work feel more seamless when I sat down to do it? And I'm sorry about the background noise. I believe that might be one of my dogs having a rather big drink of water. So where was I? Yeah, so all of these productivity hacks that I'd been working into my time. So things like Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog idea, where you start your day with the biggest, grossest task that you've been putting off, or something that's the complete opposite, which is nailing all of your quick wins right off the bat. And then there's batching, which everybody likes to talk about a whole lot. And all of these little things that I'd sort of been telling myself I must do, they were kind of working against each other. They weren't working towards the same goal, which was, in essence, making me less productive, not more. So for me, like I said, when I use these hacks in isolation, they just don't work for me. What I've started to do instead is to pick my 2 or 3 favorite tricks and just layer them up so that I can get my work done, get it done quickly, get it done effectively, and not feel like I'm wasting my time or my energy trying to tick all of these boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through all of my different hacks, and then I'm going to show you how I layer them up together to work really well. So the first one is what I refer to as Tiger Time, which is actually swiped from Amy Porterfield. She did a podcast on this a while ago, which I will definitely link to in the show notes. You should give it a listen. It's a really good one. So the idea of Tiger Time is that you have this big block of time that you schedule into your diary or into your calendar, and that time is uninterrupted creation time. So that might be doing your client work, it might be writing your blog posts or your emails, it might be putting together your latest e-course, it could be anything. But that block of time should be in your calendar and should be uninterrupted. Now, I like having things in my calendar because for me, if it's scheduled, it's real. I don't really move things around in my calendar, so once it's in there, it's in there. But one negative that I did find is that if I have a massive block of time, there's too much space for me to move around in, and I tend to faff about and not really get down to business straight away. Which brings me to hack number 2, the Pomodoro technique. Now this one is hugely popular, and for good reason. It's because it works. The idea with this one is that you work in 25-minute sprints followed by a 5-minute break. And so you just break up all of your time into 25 minutes of focus, 5-minute break, 25 minutes of focus, 5-minute break. And then I think after every 4 sprints, you get maybe a 15-minute break, something like that. Now, I use the free marinara timer to do that, it's purpose-built for the Pomodoro technique, so you don't have to set it with all of your different timescales. It's all just there and working. Again, I'll link to that in the show notes. Now, I like this because it really does kick me up the behind and aid my focus. But one of the negatives is maybe that it feels like there's no end point to your work slot because the 25-minute blocks just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. So what I've done to deal with the negatives of both of these is I've layered them up. So I have my big scheduled blocks scheduled into my calendar. And then I break up those blocks with short, sharp bursts of activity using the Pomodoro timer. It's really as simple as that. Now, I've also brought a third trick to the mix for those days where I can't get started, I can't get in the mood, I'm just not feeling in the zone, and as much as I try, I just can't get going. Now, this one is swiped from Lauren Graham's book, Talking as Fast as I Can. And for those who don't know who she is, she plays Lorelai Gilmore in the Gilmore Girls. So she is fabulous, of course. And this little trick involves, backstory. She was writing a book while filming the final season of the Gilmore Girls. So she had to be super, super, super focused. And a trick that she used was to, again, she sort of scheduled some tiger time and then would sit down, but she'd always have her journal with her. So she'd switch off all interruptions, no notifications allowed, and she'd sit there with her laptop for her work and her journal. And if she could not force herself to do her writing work, she would spend that time journaling. And you would be surprised by how effective this is. That needless creation sometimes is the very thing that will prompt your best, most productive work and inspire the most creative of ideas. So that's my third little trick that I like to do. So to bring that all together, step 1 is scheduling in my uninterrupted time for creation. Step 2 is supercharging my focus with these short timed sprints within that scheduled block. And step 3 is to keep hold of my journal just in case I need a little push, a little pull, a little prompt into writing. So the lesson here is to tweak the tips you try, make them work for you, play around with them, lay them up, strip things back, just mess around and see what suits, because not everything is going to suit every person. Now, if you review this episode, I'd love to hear about the hacks that you decide to layer up, because I'm always looking for more inspiration. So be sure to leave me a comment somewhere. And on that note, I'm going to head off and see you later. Thank you for listening to Your Biz, Your Rules. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could leave me an honest review on iTunes. As a little thank you, the first 150 people to leave me feedback will get access to Conquer Your Content Plan, my exclusive workbook designed to help you dream up, draft, and leverage strategic standout content in next to no time. See you next week.